Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is IZZATI binti HILMI, metric number 046374. So today I'm going to talk about the topic of my research paper for risk analysis, which is the Venezuela debt crisis. So what is the Venezuela debt crisis? It is actually a 100 years or more, or we can say a 1 century ongoing problem that never solved since 1901. So this debt crisis started when the president, Cipriano Castro, he cannot pay $1 million in bonds to the European nation in 1901. Due to the incapability of Venezuela to repay the debt, the creditor, which is the Germany, Italy, and Great Britain, are threatening the Venezuela for the military intervention in their territory. And then, to make it worse, the series of government and the successor of the government after Cipriano Castro are still not able to resolve the problems. There are three main factors that led to fall of Venezuela figured out in this research paper. The first one is the political factors of borrowing, second, oil prices crisis, and corruption. Okay, in regard of political factors of borrowing, the authority keep on borrowing money from other nations with the intentions to resolve the economic and without backup plan and how to settle the debt. And the oil price crisis also, Venezuela have too much dependable on oil sector, which end up they have no backup plan to resettle economy in other sectors. And the third one is the corruption. The corruption is too harsh in Venezuela that make it impossible for the country to collect the revenues. Other than that factors, there is also cause and effect of the economic model that led to Venezuela economic crisis. Even the first intention of this economic model is to rebuild the Venezuela again, but end up it is bring no good. So what are those things? First of all, is being cut off from many creditors market. Venezuela think by borrowing money they can help to improve back their economy, but no one want to give credit to Venezuela. The second one, stop meeting bond obligation in late 2017, make it impossible for Venezuela to rebuild their country again. The third one, taking huge loan from China. Still, Venezuela at the end, too much dependable on other people. The fourth one is the Nicolas Maduro tenure. During this president tenure, he make a lot of weird and he fantasized too much in economic model that end up all of it bring no good also. One of the economic model that been introduced by Nicolas Maduro is cutting the zero in their currency, and the second one is the petro. Okay, the petro is the cryptocurrency fantasized by Nicolas Maduro that it will solve the problem and improve the economy of Venezuela again, but also it end up with failure. Can you imagine that Bitcoin as one of the cryptocurrency that have a very good influence in the world also have their own bad time? So how can Venezuela create such a great cryptocurrency with their own disastrous economic conditions? There are three main impacts in the life of public of Venezuela that are emphasized in this research paper. The first one is the intense hyperinflation. Adding more zeros to the money also doesn't mean it increases the value of the Venezuelan currencies. In fact, it only makes the people suffer from the non-values of the money. How can you imagine that to buy a single portions of food, it takes a lot of bills? And the second one is migrating crisis. Because of pressure in the home country, the Venezuelan people are taking initiative to flee from their country by migrating to other neighboring countries. So because of this, it creates problem to neighboring countries. In Afghanistan, they have 2.5 million of refugees from Venezuela alone, and then in Syria, 6 million. Another one is Colombia with 7 million in IDPs. And then the electricity crisis. The electricity in Venezuela totally collapsed on March 7, 2019. So because of this, there is no functioning facilities in Venezuela. Also the important facilities such as hospital, which make the people of Venezuela intentions and keep on demonstrating to fight for their rights. In the conclusion, Venezuela suffered the most grave humanitarian crisis and the worst economic performance in the world. So, in my opinion, in regard of this research paper, I think Venezuela should take alternative, either totally change the authority towards more responsible and more ideal authority or president to change the face of Venezuela again, or maybe lessen their ego with the current authority by discussing with other developing nations and other big nations seeking help to improve their economy again and build their country again. So I think that is all from me. Thank you so much.